Hey, this is JC and welcome to Small Brick City. Recently, I did a comparison video where I compared the value if you're to buy Lego at a pick-a-brick wall by the cup or by the weight. And I also compared the value if you're to order it through Bricklink. And my conclusion was that it's always better to buy from the pick-a-brick wall by cup and not by weight. You always get more value out of the cup because you can stuff more inside. Some subscribers did comment that that wasn't really accurate because there were a lot of bigger, bulkier parts which might not fit so well into a cup and therefore would be a better value if you go by weight. Personally, I suspected that would not be the case simply because of the weight of the bricks and the parts. However, I agree that my little experiment was not scientific at all. I was just using one part, 2x2 tiles, to make the comparison. So today I'm going to do a super scientific experiment with a variety of parts and a digital scale which I have right over here. This is not in any way scientific, but it may give us a good idea of different parts and how they stack up if you're to buy them by cup or by weight. So I've filled 3 cups with different parts. One cup is filled only with door frames or large window frames, so there's no glass inside, because this is probably the best example of a big and bulky part which takes up a lot of space but is light in weight. The next cup is filled with bricks. I've got mainly 2x4 bricks and 2x2 bricks, and I've got some plates as well. So these are also big and bulky parts. You can see there's a lot of excess empty space. I will say I didn't spend a lot of time trying to stuff and maximize the space. If I spend more time, I probably could fill up a bit more space, but I think it's enough for the purposes of this little experiment. So these are mainly bricks and plates, bigger, bulkier pieces. In this cup, we only have 2x2 transparent panel parts, and that's this part over here, for those of you who aren't that familiar with this part. So this is an odd shape. It takes up quite a bit of space, but it is pretty lightweight. So what we're going to do is we are going to compare all these 3 cups, and this is just an empty cup by the way. We're going to compare all these 3 cups with the digital scale, and then we'll compare all the value. So let's see what happens. Here I have the digital scale set up. That's the value over there. You can see indicated in the reader. And I'm going to start off with an empty cup first. This is so that we can subtract it from the total that we see later on. So that's 84 grams. So an empty cup is 84 grams. Let's start off with the cup with all the window and door frames. And we have 220. So if we subtract the cup, we have 136. So the total weight of these door frames are 136 grams. Next, let's weigh the cup with the bricks, this one over here. And we have 364, 364 or 363, 364. Let's take it as 364, subtract 84, we'll have 280 grams. And finally, let's go with the glass panels. And that is 321 or 320, 320, well, we get 236. I think that gives us enough of an idea. Let me put together a table and we can tabulate the results. The first thing we have to establish is a baseline. So the cost of a large cup at the pick-a-brick wall, at least in Asia, is equivalent to $22.50 US. I know there's some parts in the US we can get it for $16, $18 and $20, but let's just use this for consistency, as all my previous videos has used this as the baseline. Now for a pick-a-brick by weight, the equivalent is $22.80 for 500 grams. So that's the closest we can get because it goes by 50 grams. With that in mind, we can have a look at the results we just weighed, starting with the door frames. Now the door frames weighed 136 grams. If we could buy 136 grams, it would equate to roughly $12.60. Now you can't of course buy 136 grams because it goes by 50 grams, but we'll just take this into consideration for the purposes of this discussion. Now the same amount of door frames in the cup would cost $22.50. So in the case of the door frames, it is almost about half the price. So it is a lot cheaper if you buy it by weight. However, I should also mention, because of the shape of the door frames when you put them into the cup, there's lots of empty room and you can actually put other bricks and parts inside. So eventually your overall value of the cup will probably be more than just the door frames by weight. I hope you're following what I'm saying, because with the cup, they do not care about the weight. All you need to do is fill up as much space or put as many parts as you can in the cup, and as long as you can close the lid, you're good to go. So with a cup full of door frames, I could probably put a lot of different 1x2 bricks and different parts to fill it up, and therefore the total value might actually be more than if we were to just compare it by weight. Let's have a look at the next one. Now, bricks and plates is as what I expected. It's 280 grams. That means it will cost $25.80, which is more than a cup. And once again, there would have been excess space, so I could have put in more things if I were to buy it by the cup. And finally, we come to the 2x2 panels. That's 236 grams, which equates to about $27.25 US. Again, it's more than the price of a large cup. And I could have filled in a bit more parts as well because there was excess space once again. By this unofficial, unscientific experiment, I think we can come to a reasonable, educated conclusion, and that is, by and large, you probably get more value if you were to buy from a cup if you do not mind mixing in different parts. Now, I won't do a comparison with Bricklink because I did a casual look and I can tell you the same amount of parts will be much more expensive on Bricklink, so there's no need to even do a calculation. The value you get from the pick-a-brick wall by weight or by cup will still be better than from Bricklink. I hope you enjoyed this super scientific experiment, and the next time you visit a pick-a-brick wall, whether it's by the cup or by the weight, you know what sort of strategies you want to employ to get the most value. By far, I think with the cup, as long as you don't mind getting extra parts, you can always fill in empty spaces with extra small parts. So even if the door frames, even if you can't get as much as you're to get by weight, you can really fill in a lot of different parts and get quite a bit of value. Same with the big bulky parts like the bricks. However, of course, if you want a certain part, especially if it's really lightweight and big, then if you're lucky enough to find that particular part in a pick-a-brick wall that goes by weight, definitely go for that. I hope I never have to do these comparison videos again. If you do want to check out the previous videos, follow the links in the description below. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't, please subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching. Talk to you soon.